Hey, what's up, y'all? It's currently Saturday, December 13th, 2025. I'm the Amateur Wizard, your local producer, videographer, artist extraordinaire, coming out of Atlanta, Georgia. I'm not originally from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm a transplant, but anyway. So I know everybody's heard of Doechii and that she had this like crazy rise over the past couple of years. And I was doing some research and found her little video series on her doing her creative recovery, and she was reading the book The Artist's Way. I went and picked up that book. I wanted to kind of start doing my own thing, and kind of like I want to start doing this, have my own way, and do a little series and everything. I don't know. It's just I felt like it was cool to really get into it. I mean, let me go back and start. So I purchased this book a few months back actually, and I actually started it. I was trying to start maybe like back in like August. Got this book and I was reading it and I was like, ooh, okay. Read the beginning, got to like the first week. I did like a couple days. I was doing like morning pages and stuff, and I was like, boom, completely fell off. I guess life got in the way. I just completely fell off, and I was like, dang. So some months passed, and here we are in December, and it's like, you know what? I think it's finally time I picked the book back up. And I felt like, oh, maybe a way to really keep up with it is if I do these little video journal, video diaries like Doechii did it. I mean, shit, I'm just copying her flow for real. And I'm assuming if this is coming up on your recommended or on YouTube, you've probably seen people do stuff like this before, or have heard people's, anecdotes and stuff. Like I've seen many anecdotes about this on TikTok, because this junk was all over TikTok this past year. This was really the reason I got it. And then I heard about the Doechii, rise from it. Anyway, I've never had I feel like it's a good excuse to finally write again. Like I've always been the type of man to write all the time. Like, well, first let me give a premise of the book. The book is, supposed to have like a good creative recovery process of sorry, I was just making sure it's recording. Of this spiritual recovery process of a guide to a spiritual path to higher creativity is what the book says. Basically that, it looks at creativity and being an artist in any facet, writer, film, music, all that. It takes and looks at that in like a spiritual lens, which it's always, I'm kind of, you kind of don't think about it like that way. A lot of people don't think about it that way. That's kind of how the book begins. I mean, reading the book is you like a skeptic, like, right? For it's like this old white lady on some weird new age spirituality stuff, on some Gwyneth Paltrow stuff. It's just privilege. It just sounds like privilege, and usually, I'm actually taking a very big leap in difference here. Was like taking advice from an old white woman. I would never do that. Shoot, like if you're not an English teacher, I'm not listening to you. So anyway, but I'm reading this and it's like, dang, I'm feeling like, over the past year, I'll say even the past 2 years, I've come into an awakening about like, oh shoot, what I want to do with my life going forward. Where are my goals at? And it's like I have all these goals that really spark from my creativity. It's stuff I've picked up over time. Like I just got a camera this past year, picked it up, and I started shooting videos, and it really unlocked something within me. I was like, dang, why does this touch my soul so hard? Like it's crazy. Like, and I've been making beats and music for years. I mean, I've never it's funny because I've never been on band. I did like youth youth choir when I at church. I was never part of a chorus or anything, but I was always been connected to music. I had as soon as I got my first like little iPad, I was making beats on that at like 10 years old, and I've been making beats and everything for years. And I was like, oh, I really want to be this great producer, and it's just a dream that was like, nah, I can't do that. Maybe if I get lucky, maybe keep making beats, kind of a hobby type thing. But then it's like, I really do want to do it though. And, I've been posting beats on YouTube. Shoot, if you find this, go and check out the beats on my YouTube page on the same channel. Go and check that out. They're fire. But I just did my own thing. But like, you keep going through life and you just feel like it's like, and I gotta admit, it's been a hard few months, hard past year, and I've been like, it's like I'm grinding against something and I don't really know what it was. And I felt like, okay, I gotta try and push through it. Like, I gotta give my creativity the reins, like give my artist stuff the reins, give the music stuff the reins, be a writer, be a videographer. And this is kind of why I'm recording this, because I'm trying to really get into using the cam and stuff. I should have put my phone like over here so I can just quickly check to make sure it's recording and then not have to look away from the camera every time. But it's fine, we'll keep moving. But yeah, that's basically why I picked up this book. And so throughout the book, you're using these tools called spoilers. I already read the book all the way through, because at the beginning of the introduction it said, hey, you might want to look through the book and flip through everything. I was like, screw it. So I spent this past week, I just read the whole book through. I read the whole book through and I was like, okay, I'm gonna start the process after I read the book all the way through. Use this week to read the book, and then boom, start the process the next week. That's how I had started doing it. And use these tools called the morning pages and the artist state. So morning pages, basically you wake up every morning and you just write 3 pages, just try and write 3 pages of whatever you're thinking, whatever comes to your mind. And low-key, I actually started doing that this week. It's Saturday, I started Monday, so I already have 6 days worth of pages here. Like, see, yeah. It's actually crazy. Whoa, wait, hold up. Yeah, I started Monday. I thought it said Sunday on there, but I started Monday. But I just write whatever comes to my mind, and just flowing out. And I've always been a guy that did that, just never regularly, right? I'll always sit down and there's be points where it's just my mind is moving so fast, it's a bunch of jumbled up mess, and before I can really get to anything else like school assignments or all that, I just gotta sit down and just write like, and it's actually crazy doing this past couple weeks. Not past couple weeks, I've done it just these few days, and I've already felt like some mental clarity, low-key. Like, I write lyrics and verses and stuff, and this is the first time in weeks that I've been able to just sit down and write a verse to a beat that I was making. I do junk like that sometimes. I'm multi-dimensional or creative type shit. Anyway, but it was crazy, like looking into this book, and it was like, dang, and thinking about creativity from a spiritual lens, right? And it brought me to this back like at the beginning of this year, before I even thought about getting this book, and I was in a Bible study. I'm talking about Christian Bible, right? And it's funny, so like yeah, I'm gonna read some scripture. This is not a full thing, it's not a Bible study class, it's just something that I thought about. But Genesis 1:26 said, the New King James Version, and then God said, let us make man in our own image, according to our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish, over the cattle. 27. So God created man in his own image, and in the image of God he created him. male and female, he created them. So in his own image, what does that mean? Like, we're supposed to live up to God's image. How do we do that? Let's flip back to Genesis 1:1. What does God do? Or God created man. But what does God do? In the beginning, Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. What does God do? He creates. And so how he creates, and again, this according to the Holy Bible. According to the Holy Bible, Christianity, it depends on how you feel about Christianity, how you feel about religion in general, how you feel about God. Is it a he? Is it a him? Is it a it? Is it a he, a she, an it, a that, a they? Doesn't matter. That's just what it says. And as Julia Cameron puts it, she refers to God as the great creator, looking at God as the source of our creativity, putting that out, and how we speak to God is through our art. And that's a crazy thing I never even thought about before. Like, how do you create for it? Like, is this, it's actually crazy. So I'm really excited to really get into it. Like, I didn't do any exercise or anything when I read it the first time through. I was just reading it all the way through just to kind of see how it's like, and see what the process kind of looked like, get a feel for what it'll be while I'm going through. And I guess I'm recording this just to make sure I see through to that. If I'm got all these all the digital journals, I can look back on it in the past, look back on it when I'm moving and doing what I want to do, get unblocked, because I do feel creatively blocked. Like, it's easy to feel creatively blocked. You just get into a rut, and sometimes life gets in the way. Sometimes things just happen, and you're just like, oh, you it's not like life gets in the way. It's like we let life get in the way. And so I'm kind of giving this out. I'm gonna send it out as for myself, but if anybody's to see this and it's like, oh, dang, I'm feeling that way too, I kind of want to go through this process. Or maybe you cop the book, and I think in the book she talks about like these groups and things about like moving throughout the book, and I guess this can be our little space, or our little space and journey as a group, whoever's watching this, and you can read along with me, and we can I do a check-in every week, and boom, maybe it's like a group check-in type thing, technically parasocial check-in. So yeah, it's kind of what I'm doing, unscripted, unedited. I just kind of wanted to do this, throw this out, see how it goes. Thanks.